Imagine it's the middle of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and a red card just vanishes. Not because a referee changed their mind, and not through any normal appeal. It disappears because of a phone call from the President of the United States to the President of FIFA. What happened next sent a shockwave through the world of football and raised a fundamental question. Is the beautiful game still fair when the most powerful people on earth get involved? This is the story of how a foul on a soccer pitch in America became an international incident. The date was July 1st, 2026. You're in a packed stadium for a crucial group stage match in the FIFA World Cup. The host nation, the USA, is facing Bosnia and Herzegovina, and the home crowd is electric. In the 64th minute, with the US leading, their star striker Folarin Balogun, who had already scored, challenges defender Tarek Muharemovic for the ball. In real time, it looked clumsy. Balogun seemed to step on Muharemovic's ankle as he fell. The Brazilian referee, Rafael Klaus, who was just yards away, initially waved play on. But then came the signal. The video assistant referee had flagged the play. After a jog to the pitchside monitor and a look at the slow-motion replay, Klaus walked back onto the field, reached into his back pocket, and pulled out a straight red card. The crowd was stunned. Balogun, a breakout star for the USMNT with 3 goals in the tournament, was sent off. According to FIFA's rules, this was more than just a punishment for this one match. A straight red card means an automatic suspension for the next game. There's no ambiguity. The core penalty, the automatic one-match ban, can't be appealed. Balogun was out, and the USMNT would have to face their round of 16 opponent, the formidable Belgian national team, without their top scorer. Case closed, or so everyone thought. For a few days, the story was about how the US would manage without their star player. Pundits debated the call. Some said it was harsh. Others argued it was correct by the letter of the law. But behind the scenes, something was happening that had no modern precedent in the World Cup. Reports began to trickle out, first as rumors, then confirmed by outlets like CNN, Forbes, and the New York Times. President Donald Trump had personally called FIFA President Gianni Infantino. Now, Trump and Infantino have a well-documented friendly relationship. They've met multiple times, with Trump praising Infantino as a great guy. There's even a now famous photo from 2018 where Trump playfully held up a red card in the Oval Office while Infantino stood beside him, laughing. Nobody knew how prophetic that image would become. During the call, Trump didn't hide his position. He later publicly confirmed he told Infantino, that wasn't a foul. The president of the host nation had directly intervened in a disciplinary matter. Then, on July 5th, less than 2 days before the USA versus Belgium showdown, FIFA released a bombshell. The disciplinary committee was suspending the implementation of Balogun's one-match ban. He was eligible to play. For the first time in the modern era of the World Cup, a straight red card would not result in a player missing the next match. FIFA's justification was a little-known clause. Article 27 of the Disciplinary Code, which gives the committee discretion to suspend the implementation of a sanction. Instead of serving the ban, Balogun was given a 1-year probationary period. Just like that, the red card was gone. The reaction was immediate and furious. The Royal Belgian Football Association released a statement saying they were astonished. They argued it violated FIFA's own rules and immediately filed a formal appeal. Just hours before kickoff, FIFA's response came back. The appeal was inadmissible. Belgium had no other recourse. The American players were just as surprised as everyone else. Defender Chris Richards told reporters they found out on the team bus when their phones started buzzing with alerts. He said they weren't quite sure if it was true or not, and that with everything going on, there can be a few question marks. The man at the center of it all, Folarin Balogun, was clearly a pawn in a much larger game. He handled it with quiet class, later saying he accepted the decision when he was given the red card, and he also accepted the decision when he could play. There wasn't much else he could say on the matter. Even the Belgian manager, Rudy Garcia, made it clear he didn't blame the player, saying it wasn't his fault and that he told him that directly. President Trump, however, took a victory lap, posting on social media, thanking FIFA for doing what was right and reversing what he called a great injustice. To many, this wasn't justice, it was an abuse of power. The controversy quickly grew beyond the world of sports. In a joint statement, dozens of members of the European Parliament called for a formal investigation into Gianni Infantino. The lawmakers called FIFA's reversal a disgrace and a perversion of justice. Their statement declared that when political pressure appears to determine who gets to play, the game's sense of fairness goes out the window. They demanded that FIFA's own ethics committee investigate its president and the role of political influence. FIFA scrambled to do damage control. Infantino released a statement claiming he had simply explained to President Trump that the matter would be handled by FIFA's independent judicial bodies. The organization defended its use of Article 27, but the defense felt hollow to critics. To them, it looked like a flimsy legal justification for what seemed to be a blatant political favor for the host nation after a direct call from its head of state. In the end, all the drama may not have changed the outcome on the field. The USMNT, with Folarin Balogun back in the lineup, was soundly beaten by Belgium, 4-1. The American team looked like a shadow of its former self, perhaps weighed down by the controversy, and Balogun himself struggled to make an impact. The U.S. was out of its own World Cup. But the final score is almost a footnote. The real story is the precedent this set. This was never just about one red card. It became a story about power, fairness, and the very soul of the game. For decades, FIFA has claimed political neutrality as a core principle. But on July 5th, 2026, that foundation cracked. The image of a world leader picking up the phone and making a referee's decision disappear is a dangerous one. It suggests a world where the rules aren't the same for everyone, where the size of your country's influence might matter more than your players' actions on the pitch. The game went on, and a winner was eventually crowned, but the sport was left with a stain that won't easily wash out, and a question that echoes long after the final whistle. What happens to the beautiful game when power itself decides to rewrite the rules?